This thing really sucks. Let's check it out. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over another DSPIAE tool. As you know, I'm a huge fan of whatever DSPIAE comes out with, so I pretty much review almost everything that they have. At least I'm trying to. And today we have their handheld vacuum. To be honest, it does look very questionable. Probably don't want to show your mom this. You probably don't want to show most people this actually. But it does perform well, and that's what I meant by this thing really sucks, because it's a vacuum. Now before I continue on with the review, I will say that I did purchase this with my own money. I actually got it from the DSPIAE store on AliExpress before it was available in the United States. So with that being said, I have had this since August, so that's like 9 or 10 months now. So I think it's fair to say that I've had a decent amount of experience with it. First and foremost, we'll go ahead and talk about what comes in the box, and then we'll go over its functionality and usefulness. So in the box, of course, we're gonna get our DSPIAE vacuum. It's gonna have a removable cap right here. Unfortunately, the cap on my vacuum is actually a little scuffed because my dog Hero got to it, so he fit into it a little bit. But the vacuum head here is actually removable. We just twist it and then pull it out, and it comes out as this little pod. Inside the pod, there's actually a filter, which is quite dirty right now. So I'll just show you a little bit there. You can see that there's some nubs stuck in it as well, and some dust. That's gonna be pretty typical. So it's very much so designed like a pretty standard vacuum. One thing I don't like, however, is on the head, there is a flap that's supposed to prevent whatever's inside from coming back out. You can kind of see here, here's that flap that opens up when you're sucking things in, and it's supposed to prevent things from coming out. But as you can see on my mat, there's some nubs that did fall out when I turned it over. Usually it's not that big a deal as long as you're not turning it completely upside down. But even if it does happen, you do have a vacuum to re-vacuum it up. So let's go ahead and pop this back in here. Some other things that come in the package are this extension tube as well as a brush head. So the brush head can plug into the vacuum like this. If you own any sort of vacuum, it's gonna look pretty familiar, and there's not really anything special about it. And the extension tube is exactly as it sounds. Plug the brush head into this, and it extends it. Another accessory that comes with the kit is this tube right here. So what this is supposed to do is when a vacuum sucks air in, of course it's got to put the air somewhere, and on this it blows it out the back side. So this tube you can attach to this port on the back, and then it actually acts as some sort of air duster that you can use on your model kits or on your desk space if you have dust that for whatever reason you don't want to vacuum it up. I don't really get much use out of this hose, but I guess it's nice to have if I ever need to. I think a majority of the time I would rather just use my airbrush compressor to blow compressed air at a dusty kit. And lastly, the vacuum does come with one of DSPIAE's nice braided cables. I don't know where it is at the time, but if you've seen my crib disc review, it's pretty much the same thing as that. However, the good thing about this is this charges via USB-C. I'm a huge fan of USB-C charging because it can be faster at times, and the connector is a lot stronger than micro USB. So let's go over the functionality of the vacuum. Plug in our brush head here, and to turn it on, you actually don't just press the button, you have to hold it down until the light turns on. That's how you know it's going to be on and ready to use. Then after that, there are two modes you can cycle between. The first mode is a low power mode, and the second mode is a high power mode. If you press the button again once you're in the high power mode, then the unit does turn off, and you will have to hold the button before it turns back on again. So one thing I do find about the two modes is the low power mode is a little weak for larger nubs. So large nubs like this that you can clearly see on camera, those are going to be a little more difficult to pick up with the low power mode. However, the high power mode does pick up pretty much anything that this is supposed to pick up, and by that I mean your gump or debris. So a majority of the time I'm using the high power mode. Let's give the low power mode a test right now and see how much of this it can pick up. So the low power mode was actually able to get pretty much all of the nubs here. Like I said, sometimes with the larger nubs it doesn't pick it up, but it looks like those are perfectly fine. I feel like it did take a little longer, like I kind of had to fish for the different nubs, that way it would get picked up by the vacuum. But overall, I think it did a good job. So now I did something kind of gross and emptied all of the contents of the bin onto my desk mat. And we're gonna use the high power mode to see how much of it we can vacuum back up. Press again for high power mode, and you can hear the pitch changes after it goes into high power mode. So yeah, that got everything pretty smoothly. There weren't any pieces that I had trouble with. It pretty much vacuumed everything up seamlessly. Now I don't have exact times on how long this will last on a single charge. However, I will say that since owning this in August of last year, so pretty much within the last 8-9 months, I've only recharged this maybe twice. 2 to 3 times, I would say. 3 times at most for sure. So I would say the battery does last pretty long. I mean, if you feel how hefty it is, pretty much all you're feeling is the motor and the battery that's inside. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the vacuum. Definitely don't regret purchasing it. However, I do have those few things that I wish that they improved upon. Mostly the flap that keeps the debris from coming out. I wish that were a little more sturdy. The filters are replaceable, however, they're replaceable by DSPIAE, and most US retailers don't carry the replacements, so you'll have to order directly from them on AliExpress. I may be wrong though, maybe some stores like Mahjong Hobby have replacement filters that you could look into, but the operation's pretty simple. I don't think it's complicated at all. The accessories are pretty much all you would need for a vacuum. Come to think of it, I think this also came with a pouch. However, the pouch that it comes with pretty much only holds the vacuum. It doesn't have room for the accessories. So I end up just tossing this into a box with my other DSPIAE tools because putting it in the pouch doesn't make a difference anyways. It's gonna get scuffed up a little bit either way. Like a few other of their tools, this does have like that softer rubberized finish, so it can get scratched a little easily. But from typical day-to-day usage, it's not really gonna get scratched. Only if you hit it with any of your metal tools or let your dog get to it. I think most stores have it at around $30, which is a pretty fair price. It's definitely got enough power and battery life to warrant a price tag like that. My previous desktop vacuum was this little hand-sized palm vacuum. You might have seen it in a couple of my videos. I know some people have asked about it. That one was all right. It was cheap and quick to get because it was on Amazon. The issue I did have with that is the filters were really hard to clean and they were kind of built into the body, so you couldn't replace them. Once the filters got clogged with dust and you couldn't clean it out, then it just didn't suck up things anymore. It didn't suck, which did suck. Reviewing vacuums is weird. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the vacuum. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you do want more Gunpla content or Gunpla tool reviews. Tool reviews are what I do enjoy the most on my channel just because I want to be able to help you guys save some money. You know, if this isn't for you, then hopefully I've explained that to you through this video. So maybe I just saved you $30, which you could use on a new kit or another tool. But as always, thank you to my Patreons. You guys are the best. And I hope my initial Patreons enjoyed the gifts that I sent out to them recently. Thank you for your continued support and I appreciate you. If you'd like to become a Patreon or join the Discord or follow me on Instagram, there is a link down below in the description which you can click and it'll give you all the links to my links. And speaking of which, we are still affiliated with Studio Gundam Store as well as HobbyLinkJapan. So if you are in East Asia and you're looking for a good deal on a Gunpla kit, I do highly recommend looking at Studio G's store. They have a lot of the newest Gunpla kits as well as some rare Gunpla kits. And depending on the kit, you can opt for a box-free shipping option, which will save you some money. Now, if you live in Japan, East Asia, or even in the United States, or pretty much anywhere else in the world, you've probably heard of HobbyLinkJapan. They're definitely a good place to buy Gunpla from, and the prices can be pretty cheap if you do decide to ship multiple kits at once. So if you do shop there, I would appreciate it if you did click the affiliate links. That way you can help support the channel with no cost to you. And as always, hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Pick up some tools and start building.